Productivity is a real thing, right? And sometimes it can be a challenge. And you tell yourself, oh my God, I'm not productive. I need to be more productive. Why am I not more productive? And you put a lot of emphasis on success with your productivity. And that's great to a point, because then you say, okay, I have goals. But it's when you feel obligated to have that productivity that becomes problematic. Check it out. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Positivity Experience. It's your girl, Lori, and man, am I excited that you are here. We are almost to my birthday month in April, and I have a few things I'd like to get accomplished before then, and then a whole bunch after then. So this is a perfect opportunity to do this podcast. It's been requested a lot, so I figured what better time, because in my opinion, while the universal New Year is January 1, I always look at the New Year as your birthday, right? Because you're starting, actually, the funny thing about birthdays, side note, is as I'm going to be 53, I'm actually starting my 54th year around the sun. So when you turn, in my case, 53, that's not my 53rd year. I just wrapped up my 53rd year. So just a little fun fact about birthdays. But yeah, so I do look at that as a new year and a new start, so to speak. Not so much a new start, but a revamp of things that are working, things that are not working, what I need to add, what I need to subtract. Subtraction is a huge part of productivity. So I'm going to give you 5 myths about productivity, and we're going to combat that a little bit. However, over on Patreon, there is going to be a worksheet, a scale of 1 to 5. It's going to give you some tools to get through some of your roadblocks. If that's your jam, pop over to Patreon. It's patreon.com/the Positivity Experience. Or you can click your link. It should be in the show descriptions anywhere that you're getting the show right now. So yes, so congratulations for being here. I'm happy that you're here. That means that you probably want to be a little bit more productive. And I also want to talk to you about how you take breaks to make yourself more productive, because everybody has this mindset of go, 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 go. And I know a lot of you know that I have clients in pretty much in every continent. And I will tell you, being here in the United States, it is kind of crazy how we put all of this emphasis about, look how many hours I worked this week. I worked 98 hours. Man, I'm doing great. Meanwhile, I have people in other countries who are way more productive. They aren't committing hardly half that time, but it's the quality, not the quantity. So that's the first thing, is you're going to have to get that out of your head, right? Quantity doesn't always mean better. Quantity, look, I did 10 projects today. Then that means that none of them are done adequately. And that's a fact. Multitasking is something that is not good for the human brain. No one can adequately multitask. You can lie to yourself all day long. I multitask well. No, you don't. You might get things done. You're stressed while you're doing it. You feel like you're on some time crunch. You're kind of doing some quality work, but you're not really doing the top quality work. You're not. You're not, because you can't. So there's this myth that if you're doing one task, there's something like you're too off the chart of like lazy. Like, it's crazy and it's untrue. It's a big, big myth that multitasking is sufficient for productivity. If you find yourself feeling that you have to do more and you have to do more and you have to do more, that means you have to do less. Okay. So if anybody ever said to you, well, you better get a few things done today. No, listen, we all have a few things to get done. We can't just be like, I'm going to cook dinner and that's it. Sure. But you want to create it to where it's realistic. Now, I want to give you a little tip here. If you work, I work for myself, right? So I have to really police myself pretty well. But let's say you work in a corporate environment and you have a lot of responsibility. And your higher up, your boss, says to you, hey, I really need to get this proposal done. I need to get this sent out to Amazon like by Friday. And you're like, okay, I'm on it. So you start working on it and you're making some good progress. So this is on a Monday. So Tuesday, but like Wednesday, your boss says, hey, babe, come in here for a second. I have another project I need you to get done. I need you to send this proposal by Friday to FedEx. Okay, so now in your mind, you're going, okay, well, wait a minute. I'm really busy. I'm trying to get this out to Amazon. And now you're throwing this in? No. What you're never going to do is go, okay, no problem. Hard pass. No. This is where you say, okay, Boss John. Okay, John, remember on Monday when you gave me the big proposal that I have to do for Amazon? I'm working on that now, and now you're telling me that this one has to be done for FedEx. Which one is more important, and which one do you want me to accomplish by Friday? This puts that back in his lap. If he says both, then you have to say, that's not doable. That is not doable. I cannot get both of them done. So please decide which one is better. Yes, or more important, yes. Stop with your avoidance of conflict, man. Stop that, because it's never going to serve your best and highest good. Now, let's say you didn't say that. Now you're in your cubicle or in your office on a Wednesday. You're like, damn it, I have so much I have to get done for this Amazon project. Now I've got this FedEx project. Now you're working till 11 o'clock at night at home, hard pass. Okay. And you're running yourself and you're running yourself and you're running yourself and you turn it in. And now he says, okay, great. Good job. Good job. I noticed on that Amazon proposal, it wasn't quite as in depth as I wanted it to be. Well, I guess not, because you're trying to multitask. Stop saying that you can take on more work than you can. As a person who's doing so much, I have to tell myself this all the time. Where's my book fit? How important is my book? How important is my new blog? How important is the podcast? How important is my clients? My clients are always going to be the first. Right? Well, I'm going to be my first, and then the clients are going to come second. Everything is going to be secondary after that. So I can want to do all of these things. I'm one human. All right. Now, sometimes for productivity, if you have the opportunity, you want to farm some of that out. You do not have to do it all. All right. So multitasking very often is you in your perfectionism, you in your people pleasing, you in your insecurity of saying, I can't do it all. Of fearing of looking like a failure. So perfectionism and fear of failure comes in here. So if you find yourself multitasking, now, not just at work, at home, right? You go, okay, it's the weekend. All righty. I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm going to clean the house. Okay. Oh, I was thinking about painting that room. Okay. No, you're not. None of that's going to happen. Is grocery shopping important? Yes. Then you're going to put it in your schedule. If it is not in your schedule, don't willy-nilly off the top of your head. We're going to talk about that one here in a second when it comes to procrastination. So number one is multitasking. If you think you can do it, you cannot. If you think that it proves that you're more productive, it does not. If it proves that you are more capable, it does not. If you're afraid to tell somebody, no, you can't do it, then that goes into a deeper issue. Now that goes into people pleasing. Now that goes into insecurity. So number one is multitasking. It is not a thing. Okay. Number two kind of goes hand in hand with that is more hours, more productivity. No, not at all. And going back to the first comment I made, I have clients who have CEO companies, like they have big companies. And when they first started coming to me, I mean, they have multi-million-dollar companies. And I have one right now that I'm kind of talking him off the ledge because he's working so many hours in his construction company. He's a builder. He has great big building, like home, like the ones you would see on like Open House or like on the lottery show on with my guy David on HGTV. He has houses like that. That's what he builds. So the more he builds, the more he is requested to build. Yes, he has a team. Yes, he has people work with him. But he's been working about 70 hours plus a week for about 8 years. 8 years. I'm lying. It's about 6 years. I don't know why I said 8. It's about 6 years. So we've started to build in, like, I don't really care what you think that you don't need. You need it. Like, you need time off. He's like, well, I don't listen, if you don't make time for wellness, you will make time for sickness. Keep that in mind. If you do not take time for wellness, you will have no choice but to take time for sickness. So keep going as you will until you hit that brick wall, and it ain't a fast comeback. So so this is where we are with him. And he's like, well, actually, you're right. He says, I'm really feeling burned out. I'm missing time with my son, missing time with my wife. I just feel like I need to do it all. I'm like, bro, if you get hit by a bus today, none of that's going to matter. So more hours does not mean productivity, and it's quality over quantity. All right. This is where I use the Pomodoro technique, which I'll go deeper on the Patreon, on the worksheet. You cannot keep going full throttle to prove a point and to be proud that you work 70 to 90 hours a week. That doesn't prove anything other than the fact that you are a perfectionist, you are afraid to fail, you are afraid to delegate. You have no other identity than what you are doing at work. So none of that is proving that you're more productive, right? So if you put those two things together, you're trying to multitask and you're doing it in 75 hours a week, there is no physical way that you are doing quality work. None. You're not. And you're burning yourself out. So when you're traveling in burnout, you think that you're showing up and, people tell you this lie all the time. All the time I hear this. Well, I'm better under pressure. You're not. No, you're not. You're avoiding things early on to then lie to yourself and tell yourself, but I do really well under pressure. You don't. Just because you get it accomplished doesn't mean that you're doing well. Your mental health is not doing well in it. So the more that you tell yourself, I do good under pressure, all that's that's like co-worded and hidden in, I just don't feel like doing it early. I'm going to do it late. You see this a lot with students, right? Like even my own daughter, she'll be like, I have this due on the 27th and it's like the 15th. I'm like, all right, you going to work on it? Yeah. I'm good. I'm good to the 27th. Now we're on the 24th. She's like, I got to get that done. Bro, you did that to yourself. Right? You did that to yourself. So stop putting off tomorrow what you can do today. I know you've heard that saying. Stop putting off to tomorrow what you can do today. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if it's not fun. I don't care if it's boring. It's the boring things and the boring part of your journey that is going to create the productivity and it's going to create the routines. It's going to create the routines, which is number 3. And number 3, people have this idea and something that they lie and tell themselves or have been told that strict routines are stifling for creativity. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. If you do not have strict routines, you're going to have too much thinking time. You're going to have too much like, oh my God, okay, well, wait, what's important? What do I need to get done? Now, of course, you're going to have to build for flexibility. Just because plan A doesn't work doesn't mean that you fall apart because plan A fell apart. Right? But you don't sit there and do all these contingency plans. You just go, okay, this is my strict policy. These are my strict rules, right? For myself. If you do, especially if you have anxiety, depression, ADHD, bipolar, any mental thing that you're struggling with, any neurodivergence, you must have a strict routine. I don't care if you don't like putting it together. It's boring. Don't care. Don't care, because you have to ask yourself, do you want to show up and be the maximum productivity in the shortest amount of time? Meaning, do you want to work harder or do you want to work smarter? Because they're two different things. So if you want to keep running on a hamster wheel because you've just decided, you know what, it's a Sunday and I don't feel like meal planning for the week. Okay, well then fine. Wednesday, when you're like, I think I'll get a pizza because I'm not sure what I was going to have. And pizza was Friday, but okay, too much thinking. There's too much thinking. It's like setting out your workout gear the night before you're going to work out. I don't really care if it's like right there beside your bed in the dresser. Pull it out, put it out. The goal with productivity is to have a strict routine and to set it up so you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking. That creates overwhelm. That creates frustration. Then you start talking yourself out of things because you just don't feel like it. And not feeling like it is not an adequate response. No, hard pass. And it will prevent you from doing that. Now, listen, you could spend 16 hours a day on a Sunday getting these schedules together. You could color block it. You can color code it. You can make it look pretty. You can put stickers all over it. You can do anything you want. If you're not going to follow through, and it is your responsibility. If you say, well, it's hard, and life is hard. It's harder to stay unproductive than it is to get productive. Oh, but it's so easy to like sit and scroll and watch TV. No, that's avoidance. You think it's easier. The gray elephant in the room still exists. That project still do. There's loads of laundry still there. Gonna cook? Well, still got to eat. So you avoiding it and putting it off because you're tired. Stop using that as an excuse. I'm tired. I had a long day at work. Is it built in your schedule? Because you do need downtime. You absolutely need downtime. For sure. But you better make sure that your schedule and your routine is as such to where it has an off period, like an off button. Like let's say it's 6 o'clock. Let's say it's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, I'm just going to sit down, preferably not scroll forever. I am not a scroller and I'm highly against scrolling for productivity and for your mental health. It's just something I don't do. I mean, go on and intentionally look for a recipe or a pattern or whatever it is. That's great. But it's when you're doing unnecessary scrolling and unnecessary watching of television for 5 hours out of the day. That's avoidance. All right. So your strict routines do not hamper you. Well, I'm not creative. Yes, you are. And I build in a 30-minute creativity a day. So where I'm completely done. It's usually after my morning workout or my morning sort of routine. And I was talking about this on somewhere. I forget where it was. But when Deion Sanders, his new book, he even says, nobody is allowed to talk to me in the morning. Like, seriously, do not talk to me until I get my program done, my routine done. His people at work knows it. His family knows it. They leave me alone. Leave me alone until I have accomplished my morning routine. This is important for you. Have a non-negotiable morning routine and a non-negotiable evening routine. Build that into it so you do it even when you don't want to, because it's the best thing for you. So if somebody ever told you that strict routines are bad or they're not good for creativity, that is the farthest thing off base. It has been proven in multiple studies by scientists, by PhD people, by psychologists, by doctors. It is proven effective. So whether you like it or not, it exists. It is the facts. So it's about creating those routines and sticking to those routines. It does not break your creativity. Now, let's go with number 4 on that. And this isn't just about your workspace. This is about your life. But there is a myth that says that cluttered workspace, a cluttered, busy workspace, means that you are productive. That is not at all what that means. That means that you're scattered. That means that you're unplanned. And again, I go back to ADHD because I'm ADHD, and it's something that is very true. It is very easy for the ADHD brain to tell you, oh, but this is how you find. You ever see somebody go, oh, it's okay. I know where it is. I know how to find it. You're like, yeah, but it's under all these piles. Yeah, it's okay. No, you're making excuses. That is an excuse. All right. If you think a cluttered work desk or a workspace, I should say, shows that you are busy, it does not. So once again, I go back to psychological studies. I go back to various things that have been studied a multitude of times. A cluttered space is a cluttered mind. That's just how it is. Okay. So if you have laundry all over your bedroom, let's say it's clean laundry, but you have it in this corner and you have it over here and you think, oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I'm not saying that you have to have a meticulous house. I definitely do not. I mean, I have like my little, right now while I'm recording, I have my little mop bucket over there that I just need to take downstairs at some point. I have a filter that needs to be put in my filter to change that I do for the monthly thing. I have things that are there and I have it scheduled on when I'm going to do that. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect because it's fake as hell to be perfect. You don't have to do that, but you got to keep it tidy because your cluttered mind will go with it's funny. It's a psychiatrist friend of mine. We were talking one day over like drinks or something. And they said, you know, what's interesting. You can always tell how somebody's mind is by their surroundings. So if you have a cluttered space, that means that your mind is cluttered. So if you ever thought, I wonder if I have a cluttered mind, look around you. Yeah, it's disorganized. Your mindset is disorganized. Is there too much happening? Am I holding on to too much? Or is my space too crowded? Well, so is your brain. Your brain's trying to do too much. It's trying to do too much, trying to take on too much. It's trying to absorb too much. It's just not possible. So sometimes because we get so caught up in ourselves, right? We get so caught up in, kind of not knowing like, hey, I think I'm good. You can also tell if you're avoiding things. So if you look around your space right now, well, you might be in your car. Okay. But even in your car, look around your space right now, wherever you're listening to this, look around your space. Is it cluttered? Is it little piles everywhere? Is it disorganized? That's how your brain is. Not making it up. It has been proven countless times. So a good indicator of where you are from a mental perspective is, am I neat and tidy? I said neat and tidy. I did not say perfect, right? I did not say that. So am I neat and tidy? Can I see things that like there's not a lot of stuff everywhere? That's why there's this big push for any organizer person that will tell you clean countertops. You don't need to have your toaster up there and your blender up there. And no, The cleaner the countertop, the more productive and creative you are. So you want to ask yourself, is my space cluttered? And this is what I do on Sundays, Saturdays, Sundays, whenever, sometimes Saturdays. Go through your car. Like I do work from home, but like I have a group this Friday, right? I have a group, so I'm going to drive in it. Many of you drive to work. This is like a little mini house on wheels. So every week you want to look and say, does it need to be vacuumed? Can I wipe it down? What trash needs to be taken? I know for me, I drink a lot of Dunkin' Donuts because it's my jam. So you know how sometimes if you're taking your drinks out of your cup holder, you put it back in, sometimes you'll get little droplets of coffee places. Wipe it down every week. Don't wait a month. You don't necessarily have to wash your car every week, but every month you should. But like just because you want to keep the life of the car, but you also want to feel at peace. You don't want to have a bunch of paper and a bunch of crap that you vacuum your car. Vacuum your car. Make sure it's wiped down. Does anything need to go? Stop keeping everything in the back of your car just because you're like, I don't know what's there. Now I'll keep my pickleball stuff in there, and I keep my, cause where I am now, we have a plastic bag ban. So I do have like, my bags and stuff there's a reason. Don't just leave stuff there for the sake of it being there. So I would encourage you right now, no matter where you are, look around. What is that telling you about your mind? Not what needs to be done. That's going to go in your routine and your schedule. Look around and say, what does this tell me about my mind? And you'd be very surprised. Don't judge it, but it gives you an indication. Because sometimes subconsciously, like we talked about last week, subconsciously things are going on in your mind and in the background, and it's running on an automatic tab, right? And you don't even realize it. So sometimes, even though you think you're productive and you look around, you go, wait, do I have too many things? Because sometimes part of our clutter and our mess, we have too much. We have too much. You don't need it. We use 20% of our closet. 20%. I know it's cute. I know it has tags on it. I know one day you're going to wear the pants. Get rid of all three of those things. I really don't care how much money you spend on it. Get rid of it. Okay, so that's a lack mindset if you don't. So anyway, to be productive, that's what you want to do. You want it to be cleaner. Again, not perfect. Cleaner and organized and tidy. And you will notice that when that happens, you do find yourself being more creative. You really do. Now let's talk about the last one here because it's very important. And then I'm going to talk to you about taking breaks too, and why that's productive. It's kind of like not one of the myths. It's like one of the productive things. And one of the myths is that procrastination is lazy. Procrastination is not lazy. For one thing, if you have ADHD, you have OCD, you have depression, you have anxiety, you have anything else like that, it's because you're in an overwhelmed state. That's what's happening. You're avoidant and overwhelmed. You're in avoidance and you're overwhelmed because you have no plan. You have no why. You have no strategy. You might have spent 6 hours writing it down, but yet you're not setting your alarms to do things. You're not quitting the task to go to the next task, even if you're not done. So there's a lot that happens there. So then there's too much, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever tried taking everything out of your closet, right? Because that's how you declutter. You take everything out of your closet, everything out of your drawers, everything. You start fresh. You wipe it down, you vacuum, you do all of those things. And then you start putting it back. And you might think, oh my God, there's too much here. Oh my God, this is so hard. Oh, I don't want to do that. So you go, I'm going to go downstairs and relax. Because it's too much. Because you didn't have a plan. So maybe you don't pull everything out of your closet and everything out of your drawers. You take 2 drawers, pull everything out, put it back. And don't say, these are my favorite socks. You can't have 15 pairs of favorite fuzzy socks. Oh, these are my favorite pajamas. You don't need 9 pairs of pajamas. Pick one and pick 3 and let the rest go. Let the rest go. So that will also, by breaking it down into micro goals, you're less likely to feel lazy, right? Lazy. Because it's not a laziness. It's a procrastination due to the fact that you don't have a plan or you're trying to take on too much. I have been the queen of trying to take on too much most of my life. So I always have to pump my brakes. I always have to look at my schedule. I always have to reevaluate. And that's what I was saying to you. About every 2 to 3 months, usually it's about every 2 months, I look, and sometimes monthly, I look and go, okay, what's working? Do I have too many things on my to-do list? Move it to the next month. Is it important at all? Maybe I'm not going to do it at all this year. Maybe I'm going to wait to the end of the year. We all have big goals and dreams until we realize, hey, I'm one person. If you can't delegate it, you have to plan it, right? So your productivity in itself, you have to understand that part of procrastination is absolute fear of failure. Absolute fear of failure. Well, if I don't do this all at one time, well then, oh my gosh, I suck. This is where the Pomodoro technique comes in at. You might have heard people say, the hardest thing is starting. Yeah. For some people, the harder thing is stopping, right? So let's say I'm looking at my desk. My desk drawers are fine and they're tidy now. But let's say I was like, I'm going to go through 3 drawers. Let's say they were all cluttered. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go through 3 drawers. And this also helps with time management because over a period of time, you start to figure out how much time things take. So if I look and I say, you know what, this is going to take me a half hour. So I do 1 Pomodoro, which is 25 minutes. I say 1 Pomodoro, I should be able to bang this out. Oh, let's say I say 2. Let's say I say it's going to be an hour, right? And I'm going through and I'm looking and I'm filing and I'm putting things away. And my little timer goes off because you always set a timer when you're doing activities and tasks. And the alarm goes ding, 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 ding. And I have 1/2 of a drawer left. You stop and you move on. You do not go, well, this is only going to take me 3 minutes. Stop it. Stop it. Those 3 minutes are going to add up. If you keep saying, well, this is only going to take, stop doing that. You don't have to complete it. So then what you do is you're like, okay, well, then it's going to be half done. So what? Take that over to tomorrow and say, God, this is going to take like 5 minutes. Build that into your schedule. Fear of failure and perfectionism is I must complete it all right now. Your all right now is leading into procrastination. And like I said, it also helps you with time management. So let's say you're like, okay, I have 2.5 baths. Okay. And one of them is a glass shower. So I go in, I scrub it down, wipe it, and I know now it takes me to adequately do them the way I want to do them is about 1 hour and 20 minutes. I know this. How do I know this? Because in the past I said it's going to take me an hour. Oh, well, nope, didn't do that. Got all but the downstairs bathroom done. So I had to wait and do it the next day. It's like, okay, I'll do 1 hour and a half. Well, now it took me 1 hour and 20 minutes. You don't immediately jump to the other task. If the task says 3, you started at 3. So the 10 minutes, you can go, don't fill it with stuff. Just go for a walk, stretch, breathe, whatever you need to do for those 10 minutes. But now I know it takes me approximately 120 minutes, 1 hour and 20 minutes. But I'm dedicated in those 1 hour and 20 minutes. I have a system and I have a program. Systems are your best friends. Have a system. Everything has to have a place. Can't just drop things anywhere you want because it's going to cause procrastination. Right? So this is where I was telling you to build in breaks. You got to build in breaks. Build in downtime. I just had a 3-day, I had 2 travel days, like 1 travel day. I had like 3 days, 3.5 days with my daughter down in Florida at a client's house because I have really good clients. And my clients and I really become friends and they stay with me for a very long time. And so she said, come on down to Florida and let's go. Like we went to see the alligators. We went to the Everglades, went on a boat. Like we did a lot of things in those 3 days and I didn't care about work at all. Were there a lot of things I needed to get done? Absolutely. Without a break, I'm going to burn out. So you build that in. Give you another example. Now it's not pool time for me up here. I was in the pool down there, not here. So when it becomes pool time, Sunday is traditionally my pool time day, as long as the weather's good. I might plan my week, right? That's not really work. It's just part of what I do on a Sunday. I'm not doing a damn thing else. Oh, I could write in my book. I could, but it's not, I need a break. So never feel guilty about taking a break. That is master key to balance. And master key to balance is master key to productivity. Okay, so if you're constantly going to sit in a space of saying, I have to finish it all, I have to do it all, why can't I do this? I need to do 15 things over on the weekend. Oh my God, I didn't get this done. I didn't start. Do you hear how that is? That's overwhelming. And what happens when you get into overwhelm? You don't want to do any of it. Right? You could get up with the best of intentions. I'm going to clean the house. I'm going to vacuum. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you go, okay. And you get up and you're like, oh my God, you have no system. You have no plan. A plan is not, I'm going to do this on the weekend. That is not a plan. A plan is how many hours are you going to spend? What exactly needs to be done? What is the priority? If you're not willing to put the time and effort into making a routine and a scheduled plan, you will stay in procrastination. It has been proven and proven and proven and proven. So sometimes you're going to have to put some effort into this. Now, I pretty much have a template. So it doesn't take me that long. I mean, I might change my meals, or obviously I don't need to do the same exact thing every week. It's not always that important, but I have a general guideline as to how much I'm spending here. My clients schedule themselves. So that's very easy because all my schedules are, all of my bookings are done online because they're all online. So they go on, you pick a time, it populates in my calendar. Boom. And I have a paper calendar and I have a digital calendar. Yes, you need both. I don't want to hear that you don't have time. I don't want to hear that you don't feel like it. There is actual reasons and scientific proof as to why that's effective. So if it works, even though we're all different and different things drive us, there are general guidelines on things that will help your productivity. But you gotta be willing to put a little effort in the beginning. And you got to be willing to be uncomfortable, and you got to be willing to walk away from your mental excuses. I've had a long week. Okay. So you avoiding everything that you wanted to do, those 2 or 3 things on the weekend, doesn't mean that they go away. They pile up. This is key for doing bills, because nobody really wants to sit down and do bills. Let's be honest. Nobody's like, yay, can't wait to do that. No. But just because I don't feel like doing them, if I don't do them, they're still living there. They're like, hey, don't forget, you got to pay that bill. Hey, did you send the money to the water company? And okay, I don't feel like doing it. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to watch TV. Meanwhile, it still lives there. It's still talking to you, and it's in the subconscious. And now you're avoiding it more and more and more. And then it's piling up because now there's more things that need to be done. So do the things now. Do not put off today or tomorrow what you could do today. And that's a really good starter for you, for your productivity. But quite honestly, anybody on the planet could give you the perfect road that doesn't exist, the perfect roadmap to life. If you are not willing to use it and do it and execute it, it doesn't matter. It's not the person, it's not the information that you're getting. It's the fact that you're not willing to be a little uncomfortable and push yourself through that discomfort to give yourself what you really need. And that's the self-compassion, the self-love, and showing up for yourself. It isn't always going to be fun and games. So with that being said, let's pop over to Patreon. Let's talk about the worksheet. Let's get you in gear, baby. Let's do this. Let's do this in a time-patient fashion. So with that being said, baby, let's do this. Let's get productive.